Hi everybody, Colleen here to explain my version of the Fat Fast. Now, before I start, I want to thank not only Atkins, because they're the ones that came up with this idea, and then Neely, who was so gracious to share this information on Facebook originally. And when I first found out about it, I was actually on around P2. Yes, that's right, P2, on HCG. And I really could not understand how this concept could work, especially when you're supposed to be doing 500 calories on HCG, and this ends up being like 1,000 calories for the day, and plus just like oodles and oodles of fat. But for whatever reason, crazy as it is, it works. Now, my disclaimer about the fat fast, and I am not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a general practitioner, I'm not any of those things. But what I feel is important to know about it is number one, especially you women that still have your gallbladders, and I guess men too, I really don't think you should go any more than 3 days on this, because the whole concept of it is that basically there's such a flood of fat going through your system that your body then thinks it's totally fine to go ahead and release the fat that it is storing in your system. Thus why you're able to get the release. But let's face it, the whole point to the gallbladder is that it's basically the distribution, the help, like holding tank when our body has fat getting digested through, and we certainly don't want you ending up with gallstones and issues. So if you don't have your gallbladder anymore, you're not going to have to worry about it. If anything, you might just feel a little queasy, and that's a big, huge if. And usually that's not even until you're like the later days of the fast. And it could also too be just because of the way I do it, and I'll explain why I do it the way I do it. The fat fast gives you all kinds of options. I mean, avocados, cream, gosh, the list goes on as far as fatty foods that you can have while on the fat fast. And actually, not only does Neely have it on her Facebook note page, but I also have it part of within my blog. I also have it where you can see the whole rundown, the whole thing that you can offer up for doing the fat fast. But my reason for doing it the way I do it is basically, like I said, absolute laziness and simplicity. And what I did, or what I do, is when I choose to do the fat fast, it's basically just macadamia nuts. I know, the correct nuts. And what I do is I basically measure out 5 small snack bags. See, there they are. And so it's 1 ounce, but 5 of them. And I end up just like throwing each individual bag into one great big plastic bag. And then I distribute eating them throughout the day. And the reason why I think Mac nuts work so frickin' well is because it's basically, and I have a posting on my blog too, and you can just look this up if you want to Google it, but basically the macadamia nut, it's a perfect fat because it's got the whole situation going on with the MCT. And it was funny because actually a client of mine went to Hawaii for vacation, and she was so sweet because we had talked about macadamia nuts and their benefits prior to her going. And then when she got back, she actually brought me a bag of macadamia nuts as like a souvenir. And she said that part of the sale of the nut in the store was about how it helps your body release fat. So everybody's getting on the bandwagon about that. So that's the deal with that. And also, just the simplicity of it is that you don't have to try to figure out measuring out anything else, preparing anything else. So it's really, especially if you know you're going to have like a couple days that you're just going to be like slammed busy anyway, just like running like a crazy person, then I say this is like the perfect fast to do, because the fat totally is satisfying to your system. And of course, it gives you that boost of that energy because the macadamia is just chock full of so much good stuff for you. And it's, of course, quenches that crunch factor. They're yummy as long as you like macadamia nuts. And you get on the scale the next day and it releases like no other. I mean, like I said, it's almost like you look down at that scale and you're thinking, how can that even be? But the thing is that you also have, like, remember I said about the 3 days? You have to be really careful because you are so stoked. You're so stoked. Valley girl. You're so excited about the releases and how well you're releasing. Sometimes it's hard to like cut yourself off at that 3 day. Now, me, myself, personally, and myself, I also get a little bit loopy when I get on this. So actually, by the 3rd day, if I don't go off of it, I am not going to be able to have any more thought pattern. And way back when I was doing around, actually, I did a vlog while I was on the fat fast, and I'm not kidding. I did that vlog and I was completely loopy. And I even say in the vlog, I'm loopy. Um, and everybody that commented after said, "You're loopy." So I just know that going in that that's the case. So I try to make sure that it's like my first 3 days of the week is usually when I do it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or maybe just Monday, Tuesday. That way also gives me the additional days after the fast to eat very clean, because that's another thing I feel, again, Colleen theory here, but I feel is extremely important to be successful with the fat fast, is that you must eat very clean afterwards, because it can very easily have a rebound effect on you if you don't. And when I mean by clean is either if you're on P2, totally go pop right after. If you're on P3, again, just be very clean, very careful of the types of fruits that you eat. Stay low glycemic as best as possible. High proteins, good veggies, that kind of thing. And the release that you get from the fat fast should stay locked in. But it's when I think it's when people try to think that they can do the fat fast prior to, like, let's say, indulging like on a weekend. That is no bueno. I think that's like the worst idea possible, because I think you're gonna like just gain like no other if you do it that way. So again, all Colleen theory, but I'm just telling you from my own personal experience how it's worked when people have done what I've done, and then their comments back to me after. I mean, there's been people that are just like, their comments are like, "No frickin' way," because they're just like so over the top excited about the release they got. So that's that. But do heed my warnings as far as how to go about it, how to be limiting of how long you do it. If you don't want to do the macadamia nuts and you want to go ahead and do the other various foods, let me know how it goes. I'd love to know. But this is my thing. This is the way I like to do it. I'm kind of bummed that Costco does not have the big cans like they used to. They do in Hawaii, though. They have a big boku, like, pallets and pallets of them. But over here in the States, if you're in a state that still does it like that at Costco, you are blessed. Buy as much as you can. If you ever go into a Costco and they have them there and you want to do this thing, buy up, because the price of them is so good and the quality of the nut is very, very good. That kind of thing. Anyway, or if any of you have like an inside track, can you comment me and please let me know? Because I'd love to know how to get a hold of good batches of macadamia nuts. All right, so that's it for now. Sorry it went longer than I planned, but hopefully I've explained everything, because I get this asked, everything I just covered, I get asked a lot of questions about it. So I think I've covered everything that I normally would comment back to someone so that I could help them be on track with this. And let me know how you do. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.